Additional Solicitor General Harin Raval has resigned. Remember, he represented the CBI in earlier hearings in the Supreme Court and had told the court in March that the coalgate probe report was not shared with anybody in the government. That is something that the CBI contradicted in its affidavit in court. We also heard from Union Minister Salman Khurshid just a few minutes back on CNN-IBN saying that it was unfortunate the kind of public spat that we saw between the additional Solicitor General and the Attorney General. He has in his letter to the Attorney General, of course, said that he's been made a scapegoat in this case. The court today also questioning why that emphatic statement came from the additional Solicitor General that the coalgate probe draft had not been shared with anybody in the government. This is a development that we were expecting, and this is what we are picking up now, that Harin Raval has in fact resigned. We're waiting for reactions and we're waiting for what is going to follow. Of course, in this particular case, the CBI is now going to be represented by Mr. Lalit, who is a senior advocate. Raval had accused Vahanvati of meddling in the CBI probe. Vahanvati, of course, is the Attorney General of India. So that that very, very public spat that we saw between two top legal advisors to the union government, of course, coming as a severe embarrassment for the union government today. The court also questioning why that statement was made by Mr. Raval in the Supreme Court on the 12th of March. Harin Raval has now resigned is what we can tell you. We're waiting for more details on the fact on this to emerge. Chief Legal Correspondent Ashok Bagria now joining us from the newsroom. Ashok, what more can you tell us?
Well, actually, he's looking at the fact that last night he'd written a letter to the Attorney General, which was also forwarded to the Law Minister, in which he said that he was being made a scapegoat, and it was actually the Attorney General of India who had misled the court on March 12 during the course of the hearing, when the Attorney General made a unilateral statement before the Supreme Court saying that no political executive had seen the coal scam report which was submitted in the Supreme Court. Thereafter, Harin Raval in his letter to the Attorney General had also given the whole sequence of events in which the March 6 meeting had taken place in the Law Minister's office, how the Attorney General was there, the CBI Director was there, and how he was asked to come to the Law Minister's office. And seeing after all these developments and the way today's hearing progressed in the coal scam, even the Supreme Court was very critical of the role of the CBI's counsel on the last date of hearing, when the Supreme Court took a serious note of the fact that Mr. Harin Raval had made a statement in the court that this report was not shared by anybody. But today, after all this, it had become really difficult for Mr. Raval to continue after taking on his senior, the Attorney General for India, and he has put in his paper, even though he has assigned no reasons in his resignation letter, but there's no doubt about the fact that his continuing as the additional Solicitor General had become difficult after he took over, after he took on the Attorney General.
Well, Ashok, of course, there were some rumors earlier on that this would be happening by close of day today. But, you know, of course, now the natural question is going to be on Attorney General Vahanvati as well. And really, Mr. Raval being made to look like a scapegoat, the first victim, really, of this entire controversy.
Well, actually, now Harin Raval definitely is the fall guy in this whole coal saga. But it is not just Harin Raval who misrepresented facts in the Supreme Court on March 12 during the last date of hearing in the coal scam. It was also the Attorney General of India who made a statement to the court saying that he had not seen the draft report, and also the government or any other political executive had not seen the CBI status report. Moreover, today when the hearing took place, the Supreme Court very surprisingly did not take any cognizance of the misrepresentation of facts made by the Attorney General of India, but simply concentrated on the statement made by Mr. Raval. So in the backdrop of these things, it had become very difficult for him to survive, but it's really too early, because on May 6th, the CBI will also be filing an additional affidavit in the matter, explaining what were the changes which were made, at whose behest the changes were made, who made the changes, and what are the effect of the changes. In fact, Mr. Raval in his letter, while narrating the whole sequence of events which resulted in the change in CBI's draft report, had said that it was actually the Attorney General of India who had vetted the final report which was submitted to the Supreme Court, as well as he was the person who, not just at his home but also in the Law Minister's office, had made the changes.
Ashok, where does this leave the Attorney General? This resignation also puts him in a very awkward position.
Well, actually, the Attorney General is in a very awkward position, but as long as the Supreme Court does not take cognizance of the role or misrepresentation of the fact made by the Attorney General, I think there is no reason anybody can actually touch the Attorney General. Even today, the Attorney General made a statement in the court that he had not seen the draft report, but there are reports which have appeared contrary to the stand taken by the Attorney General, that on March 6th there was a meeting in the Law Minister Ashwini Kumar's office where the Attorney General was there, the Additional Solicitor General was there, the CBI Director was there, as well as two officers from PMO and the Coal Ministry were there who saw the coal report which was to be submitted in the Supreme Court. Even after these facts, the Attorney General of India remains defiant. He continues to stick to his old stand that he did not make any misrepresentation in the court. But all of that is very too early to say, because the CBI is yet to file another affidavit by May 6th, and it's only after that we'll be able to get a clear picture what the Supreme Court stand will be on the role of the Attorney General in this whole thing.